Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis and you're watching BCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week. Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis and you're watching BCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is facing mounting pressure at home and abroad after signing a controversial new law critics say undermines the country's anti-corruption watchdogs, sparking the largest anti-government protests since the war began. Thousands rallied in Kyiv and other cities Tuesday, urging Zelensky to veto the law, which tightens government control over Ukraine's anti-corruption agencies. Activists returned to the streets Wednesday demanding reforms as Zelensky held emergency meetings with top law enforcement and pledged a new action plan to restore public trust. The legislation, condemned by the EU and international watchdogs, could derail Ukraine's path to EU membership and jeopardize billions in Western aid. Meanwhile, Ukraine and Russia resumed low-expectation talks in Istanbul, even as Russian drone strikes knocked out power to over 220,000 in Sumy. Zelensky vowed to pursue justice and purge Russian influence, but critics accuse his administration of consolidating power at the cost of democratic integrity. Hundreds of Marines who were deployed to Los Angeles last month during protest over immigration enforcement will withdraw from the city, the Pentagon said Monday. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has directed the redeployment of around 700 Marines from Los Angeles. The federal government deployed the Marines to Los Angeles to protect federal buildings and personnel during anti-immigration and customs enforcement protests in June. The decision marked the first time in more than 3 decades Marines were sent into U.S. cities amid civil unrest. California leaders challenged the administration sending National Guard units and Marines to Los Angeles, calling it unnecessary. Sean Parnell, the Pentagon spokesman, said Monday the Marines were instrumental in restoring order and upholding the rule of law. President Trump has said local leaders didn't move quickly enough to address the protests. In New Jersey on Tuesday, the federal district court judges appointed a new federal prosecutor, Desiree Grace, further escalating a clash between themselves and Pam Bondi, the U.S. Attorney General. The previous federal prosecutor was Alina Habba, an ally of President Donald Trump who was pushed out by the judges. The Attorney General then promptly fired the new federal prosecutor. Bondi said she would remove the person the judges had installed, a career prosecutor who had served as Habba's deputy. Politically minded judges refused to allow her to continue in her position, replacing Alina with the first assistant, Bondi said on social media. This Department of Justice does not tolerate rogue judges, especially when they threaten the president's core Article 2 powers. Because Habba's appointment was temporary, she could stay in her post past the 120-day limit, only with approval from the district court judges, or if confirmed permanently by the Senate. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche earlier accused the judges of trying to force out Habba. When judges act like activists, they undermine confidence in our justice system, Blanche wrote on social media. Columbia University has reached a $221 million settlement with the federal government, resolving multiple investigations tied to allegations it failed to address anti-Semitic harassment on campus. This helped unlock access to hundreds of millions in previously frozen research funding. Under the agreement, Columbia will pay $200 million to the government over 3 years and $21 million to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Though the university did not admit wrongdoing, officials acknowledged that Jewish students and faculty have faced serious incidents and emphasized that reform efforts are already underway. The deal restores Columbia's eligibility for federal grants, including from the National Institutes of Health, and will be monitored by a third-party watchdog. It comes just days after Columbia disciplined more than 70 students over a pro-Palestinian protest and adopted a controversial definition of anti-Semitism as part of a broader policy overhaul. The Department of Homeland Security is rolling out new measures to make airport travel easier for families families and military members. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announced Thursday that TSA checkpoints will now include a dedicated family lane under a new program called Families on the Fly, starting in high-traffic family destinations like Orlando, Florida. Families with children will also receive a $15 discount when enrolling in TSA PreCheck. Meanwhile, the Honor Lane for uniformed military members, already in place at 11 airports, will soon expand nationwide. Noem also confirmed that Gold Star families will receive free access to PreCheck, and passengers will no longer be required to remove their shoes during security screenings. Thanks for watching Braintree today. We'll be right back with more after the break.
When it comes to getting around Greater Boston, the T is the greatest value.
Yeah, you can save big compared to ride shares. I mean, there's no surge pricing, there's no tipping. How about no traffic stress?
You can park at any of the MBTA's lots and garages, and it's easy and affordable.
Just tap your phone and go. It's fast, modern, and convenient.
From Aquarium Station, explore Faneuil Hall, the Greenway and Carousel, and Christopher Columbus Park.
Or hop on an MBTA ferry for a scenic trip into the city.
Less stress, more savings, convenience at its finest. That's the T.
So many reasons to get on board.
Welcome back. At Monday's school committee meeting, Tim McDonald, the new Braintree School Superintendent, gave a brief summary of the training he and his team completed last week in preparation for the new school year. Here's more from Superintendent McDonald.
I just want to acknowledge that this is Mr. McDonald, our new superintendent's first school committee meeting. We look forward to a great year ahead. And I didn't know if you wanted to maybe say a few words and talk about your training that you attended last week.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. Very excited to be here tonight. We were fortunate enough as a leadership team, the three of us, Nora, Sarah, myself, to head down to Falmouth this past week. I was down 3 days. The first was a training day for new superintendents. Involved in a program called NISIP, which is through MASS, and got some great mentors, people to work with. And the first day was training with new superintendents, talking about the entry plan into the job and the different aspects of the job. And the second and third day were workshops that we attended, whether it was on AI or on cell phones in schools. We learned a lot, and it was very, very impressive and well run. So I was happy to be there, and I'm happy to be here too.
Also during the meeting, the committee had a discussion with Finance Director Michael Esmond regarding the master plan for the Braintree Public Schools building. While there are still questions and concerns regarding consultants and whether to include all Braintree schools in the plan, the council will continue the following steps to complete the master plan. Here's Mr. Esmond with a brief summary of the proposal and goals of the project.
Just breaking it down by task again, and I'll just summarize the reissued one. So the task one essentially is a planning and data gathering phase. So that's largely one of the, previously we had asked them to provide a summary of essentially the assessments before. That was interpreted as essentially redoing a lot of that like intensive mechanical work, essentially of having people on site. They actually said they would be on site in each building and walking through and sort of looking at each building system, which that's a more traditional facility assessment. We're talking about sort of looking at what work had already been done to assess where the, where previously documented or gaps or deficiencies were, and then having sort of facilities update on what has actually changed from those reports. So that's sort of the planning and data gathering phase of it. We anticipate that would be about roughly 30 days. I would just anticipate at least 4 sessions with the consultant. Then we would have a sort of the visioning phase of this, and that would be meeting with district leadership, talking about the programmatic and other sort of outcome focused, objective focused goals, key programs and services, all the things I think that are about sort of Braintree specific that we would want them, the consultant, to really take back, absorb, and be ready to take that information and then be able to communicate it to the community as we move to tasks 3 and 4. We would be asking for them still to prepare no less than 3 recommendations, scenarios, and maybe even have other sort of drill down scenarios of what could be put in front of the community as far as, moving forward with respect to the 6 neighborhood schools. That information would include summarized summaries of their conditions, of each school, major building challenges, which the facilities team have identified before, but we would be looking for them to be able to, again, I keep using the word digestible, this information together so that members of the community would be able to sort of participate and understand in some reasonable period of time that type of information, but also at the same time that phase also cover what are the considerations that the community should look at with respect to preserving 6 neighborhood schools or alternatives, and what would be some of the major programmatic, financial, and other considerations, including taking in the demographic information from the previous study as well as the results of the ERS study as well. And then the 4th task would really be kind of a final report and recommendation and presentation to the committee itself. And that would be all anticipated per the schedule to be completed by February.
In Braintree, the Peterson splash pad at Watson Park is closed until further notice due to maintenance issues. Town officials apologize for the inconvenience and thank residents for their patience as crews work on repairs. In the meantime, families looking to cool off this weekend can still enjoy Sunset Lake, which remains open to the public. Braintree families are invited to beat the heat with some classical fun at Intergenerational Board Game Day on Wednesday, July 30th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. at the Braintree Senior Center on Cleveland Avenue. Kids ages 5 to 12, parents, and grandparents are all welcome for an afternoon of old-school games like Candyland, Connect 4, and Battleship, brought in by Miss Elizabeth from Thayer Public Library. The event is co-sponsored by the Department of Elder Affairs and the library with support from statewide summer reading programs and local sponsors. For more information, contact the library's Children's Department. The Braintree Recreation Department is shining a spotlight on its Hire a Teen program, a community-driven initiative that connects local high school students with residents who need help with tasks like yard work, snow shoveling, moving barrels, and dog walking. It's a great opportunity for teens to earn a little extra cash or log volunteer hours, and a helpful resource for residents looking for an extra set of hands. The department shares the Hire a Teen list with those who request it, and residents can then reach out directly to teens for assistance. Students interested in joining the list can complete the application and email it to recreation@braintreema.gov. Free meals are on the menu this summer for Braintree kids and teens, thanks to the return of the Summer Eats program. Hosted at Hollis, Morrison, and Ross Elementary Schools, the program offers breakfast daily from 8 to 9:30 a.m. and lunch from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. No registration or ID required. This year, families can expect more than just food with weekly crafts, activities, and more. Organizers say the program is open to everyone and aims to provide not only nourishment, but a fun, safe space throughout the summer. For full menus and more information, visit schools.mealviewer.com/district/Braintree Public Schools or call 1-800-645-8333. Thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. We'll be right back with more stories in the area.
Heading into the city? Don't even think about driving.
The T is by far the best value in the city.
Park with ease at one of the many MBTA lots or garages with rates that beat anything in the city.
You just have to tap your phone or contactless card and ride. No machines, no stress. It's modern, fast, it's easy.
And the best part, you get dropped off steps away from where you want to go.
Hop off at Park Street, explore the State House, Boston Common, and the Theater District.
And don't miss a concert at the Orpheum.
Ride smart, ride the T.
So many reasons to get on board.
Welcome back to Braintree Today. Now let's get right into more stories. A Boston home built by founding father John Hancock is now on the market. The house, known as the Ebenezer Hancock House, is located at 10 Marshall Street. It was built back in 1767 by Hancock, a signer of the Declaration of Independence and the first governor of Massachusetts. It's the only house from that era that still remains standing in downtown Boston. The Georgian-style home still has its original hearth and some original beams along the ceiling. It also has plenty of natural light as it was designed for a time before artificial lighting was invented. The listing price for the landmark is unknown, but it's been assessed at $1.6 million. This is the first time in generations the Ebenezer Hancock House has been listed for sale. A Randolph couple has pleaded guilty to running a multi-million-dollar Ponzi scheme that defrauded dozens of victims, including some who lost their life savings, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Massachusetts. Melinda Fee Duperrier, 33, and Vanessa Joseph, 26, admitted in federal court to conning investors out of more than $3.2 million between 2018 and 2022 by posing as legitimate investment advisors and promising high returns, only to use the money to pay off earlier investors and fund their own luxury lifestyle. The pair also obtained over $1 million in small business loans to prop up the scheme, which included victims in Malden and Melrose. Both defendants were released on bond ahead of their October 14th sentencing, where they may face up to 20 years in prison for conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Changes to Quincy's polling locations for the 2025 municipal elections are stirring controversy in Ward 6, where candidate Deborah Riley is raising concerns over the neutrality and emotional impact of the new voting site. Due to construction at Squantum Elementary School, Precinct 5 voters will now cast their ballots at the Nickerson Post, an American Legion Hall on Moon Island Road, also the site of a fatal 2019 altercation that left Quincy native Christopher McCallum dead and led to a manslaughter conviction. Riley argues that the location still triggers community trauma and could give her opponent's incumbent councillor Bill Harris an unfair advantage, as he works at the Post and has held campaign events there. City Clerk Nicole Crispo says the site is accessible, will be close to the public on Election Day, and that all registered voters will be notified of the temporary change. Two other candidates in the race, James Coffey and Christopher Chan, expressed no objection to the new site. Two baby osprey chicks in Hingham got a second chance at life last week after their nesting tower cracked and collapsed near the Weymouth Back River. But thanks to quick-thinking neighbors across the water, the rescue came just in time. A hiker at Great Esker Park spotted the downed pole and the vulnerable chicks and alerted Weymouth officials, who then contacted Hingham. That's when Weymouth Conservation Director Andrew Hulton and a team of volunteers sprang into action, repairing the pole and nest before the incoming tide could sweep the chicks away. Former Weymouth Mayor Bob Headland praised the rescue on social media, giving a special shout out to Hingham Park Ranger Scott McMillan for his role in the crosstown team effort. Just in time for peak summer heat, 36 beaches across Massachusetts have been closed to swimming due to elevated bacteria levels. Most closures are linked to storm runoff and fecal contamination, prompting health officials to post warnings, deeming the water unsafe. Local health departments are required to monitor water quality, and when contamination is detected, beaches must display signs alerting the public to potential health risks, including gastrointestinal issues, flu-like symptoms, and eye or ear irritation. The risks are greatest for children, the elderly, and those with compromised immune systems. For local residents, the closest impacted sites include 4 beaches in the Wollaston area of Quincy. While some beach areas remain open for non-water activities, contact with the water is strongly discouraged. The Massachusetts Department of Public Health updates a daily water quality dashboard online for beachgoers. Thanks for watching Braintree today on BCAM TV. We'll be right back with more on entertainment. Welcome back to Braintree Today. Now some entertainment news. It's been a somber week in Hollywood as we say goodbye to 2 legends whose impact stretched far beyond the spotlight. The entertainment world is reeling after the loss of Ozzy Osbourne and Malcolm Jamal Warner, whose talents helped shape pop culture as we know it. John Michael Ozzy Osbourne was an English singer, songwriter, and media personality. He rose to prominence during the 1970s as the lead vocalist of the heavy metal band Black Sabbath, during which period he adopted the nickname Prince of Darkness. Osbourne sold over 100 million albums worldwide and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2006. In the early 2000s, Osbourne became a reality television star when he appeared in the MTV reality show The Osbournes, alongside his wife and manager Sharon, and two of their children, Kelly and Jack. On July 5th, Osbourne performed his final show at the Back to the Beginning concert in Birmingham, England. Amid ongoing health issues, Osbourne announced earlier in the year that it would be his last live performance. Though he intended to continue recording music, he died 17 days later on July 22nd. Then, on July 20th, Malcolm Jamal Warner was swimming on a family vacation when he drowned off the coast of Costa Rica. Two bystanders pulled Warner to shore when he was given 45 minutes of CPR, according to police. Malcolm Jamal Warner was an American actor, musician, and poet. He rose to prominence for his role as Theodore Huxtable on the NBC sitcom The Cosby Show. In 2015, Warner received a Grammy Award for Best Traditional R&B Performance for the song Jesus Children, alongside Robert Glasper, Experiment, and Lala Hathaway. More recently, in June 2024, Warner and co-host Candace Kelly created the Not All Hood podcast to discuss the lives and experiences of Black Americans. Malcolm Jamal Warner was survived by his wife and daughter. Now, in honor of their passing, here are some show recommendations featuring Malcolm Jamal Warner and Ozzy Osbourne. First up, if you've been missing Malcolm Jamal Warner on your screen, he's been popping up in shows like The Resident and Alert Missing Persons Unit. Both are Fox shows, and yes, they're streaming on all major streaming services like Hulu and Prime. If you're more of a podcast person, though, check out Not All Hood podcast, hosted by Malcolm Jamal Warner and Candace Kelly. It's available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Tune in for real talk, real stories, and of course, a little run down memory lane. Then, for the rock legends, you can catch Black Sabbath's final concert streaming online. Grab some popcorn and your eyeliner before jumping into Ozzy's legendary farewell show. Just head to backtothebeginning.com to watch. Last but not least, if you want more of Ozzy's personality, you can watch reruns of the iconic reality show The Osbournes or their ghostly spin-off The Osbournes Want to Believe. Tune in on Amazon Prime Video or HBO Max for some chaos and fun. That'll do it for news today. Remember, if you're a customer of Verizon, you can watch BCam TV in high definition on channel 2128. You can also now see us in high definition on Comcast on channel 1073. I'm Martha Konstandinidis, and thank you for watching Braintree today on BCam TV. We'll see you next time.